This video from Casio here, we're just going to run through some possible causes of your till end of day report not adding up correctly. The major cause for this, or probably if I've taken 1,000 phone calls on this, probably 900 of them have been caused by the wrong type of report being run the previous day. So at the end of the day, if you turn the key to the X position and run a daily report, on most registers you'll get a report printout that looks pretty much the same as your X report, your standard Z report, which is fine for that day because the report will be correct. You'll be able to reconcile your till take-ins. The big problem is that the report data won't reset. So when whoever comes along the following day to run the Z report, which is the resetting report in the Z mode, when they print out their report, they'll have not only the day's take-ins for the day they're trying to tot up, but they'll also have the previous day's take-ins. So if your till report is massively out, i.e. double what it normally is, the first place I'd be looking at for a mistake would be to check the report that was run yesterday. It's quite an easy mistake to make. It's easy to turn the key to the wrong mode, because often on a lot of registers the difference between an X and a Z, it's only one turn on the key lock, and the actual report screen looks very similar, and in fact the reports that print out look virtually identical, the only difference being that one says X and one says Z. So I'd say that's a very common cause of your till reports not adding up correctly. Probably the second most common cause would be overrings or underrings. So if you've got an alarming discrepancy on one particular department, so say it's £10,000 out, it's highly likely, if that's an unusual transaction for you, that that's been caused by operator error. So someone has mistakenly rung in £10,000 for a department when they might have meant to ring through £10 or £100. There are obviously ways of preventing that. Most tills will allow you to put a halo, which is a high amount lockout, on a department or on a method of payment button. It's also possible to do underrings. So if a cashier is particularly busy, or you've got more than one cashier operating a register, they may take a payment from a regular customer and know the exact amount, throw the money in the drawer, and then mean to put the transaction through when the till's free, but then forget due to being too busy. So it's possible that that's a cause for over rings or under rings. I've had it before where someone has processed a refund in the RF mode, because a lot of tills will enable you to have a specific mode for doing refunds in, and unless you protect this with a manager password or a manager key, it's possible to run a refund through and then by mistake leave the machine in the RF mode, because it'll work exactly the same way as a sales mode. So it'd be quite conceivable to someone who, especially someone who's unfamiliar with the register or particularly busy, to run through refunds instead of genuine sales transactions, which would obviously lead to the till being out. So again, if your discrepancy is massive, I'd be looking on my end of day report to check how many refunds we're doing. If there's like a crazy amount in there and it matches the amount that the till's out by, then that will be the cause of the problem. Other common causes would be taking money out the drawer to pay a window cleaner or to get a pint of milk or whatever. Obviously these tend to be smaller discrepancies, so are then harder to locate, but the till, most registers will have a paid out or received on account button, which will account for the money is taken out or added to the register outside of normal transactions. So you should be able to see on this report here, I've had £10 received on accounts, although I've only taken £100 in sales. My cash in drawer total is £110, and then likewise on this one I've taken £100 net, but my cash in drawer is only £90 because I've put £10 through the paid out button. So if you're getting those sorts of discrepancies, it's a case of looking at your till, seeing if it can perform those sort of functions, and then are your staff aware that that's the correct procedure. So that's another thing to look out for. Another mistake or problem that can happen with machines higher up the scale are open orders being left on the machine. So if you've got a register that's capable of table tracking or cashier tracking, it's possible to go into the machine, log in as the wrong register, open a sale, and then forget to ever cash the sale off for whatever reason. Obviously that's not a good thing. You've got to investigate why is that happening. Has someone done a runner without paying, or has the sale just been cashed off at a different point so you've had the money? So for example, on this report here, we've got £200 taken through Department 1 on the end of day Z report, but we've only got a cash in draw of £100. And the reason for that is earlier in the day, obviously this is just an example, I had to run a check clear report because someone had logged in as operator 2, opened a £100 sale and then hadn't cashed it off. So I'd run that report to clear it down, but now my Z report is incorrect or has an anomaly on it. It's incorrect in the sense that I've taken £200 through the department, but my net total is still correct. So you can see how easy it is for discrepancies to arise on a Z report. But generally, as a general rule of thumb, the cash register can't be wrong because all it's doing is recording or registering all the transactions that have been processed. So one thing we recommend is that if you are not happy with your reports, so you're concerned something's going on, it's always advisable, if you can test the machine basically by running a Z report. Obviously this varies from machine to machine, I'm just taking this as a overall example. If you run a Z report and it's got some funny figures on that you're not sure what are, but you've already done your reconciliation for the day, you can then run another Z report immediately afterwards, and you know that this should be, unless you've got grand totals on the machine, apart from the GTs or grand totals, this report should now be all at zeros. That's what we'd recommend. If you're having problems with your reports and you've lost faith in the machine or you're not sure what's going on, you've then got a perfect start point. So you can see my Z report's all at zero, and you can even test it. There's no problem with doing multiple Z reports. If you now put a sale through, then put a refund through, turn the key round to the Z position, sign in if necessary. Obviously how you do this will vary from machine to machine. If you're doing it on simple rounded transactions of £10 each time, you can then have get a proper feel for what's going on the machine. So we can see straight away, the first thing I'll look for is the GT. So I've just run, this is the report around a minute ago, and it came up with a GT of 543.55. The report that's printed out here has still got a GT of 543.55, and that's correct because I've sold £10 but I've also refunded £10. So most of my totals are at zero, but I'm expecting to see some numbers on there because I've had 2 transactions, 2 customers, cash £10 but then also refund £10. Obviously the way the report's laid out will vary from one machine to another, so it's crucial to consult your manual as well. If there's figures appearing on the Z report that you're not sure what they mean, it will be referred to in the manual as to what they mean. Yeah, so that's a good test. Get the report down to zero, reset it, run the report a couple of times so it's all at zero, and then test the machine, put refunds through, put sales through, get confident that you know the machine is just registering the sales, and then try and isolate the problem. So if you're having the same sort of problems such as overrings or crazy refunds each time, put halos onto the departments or onto the tender buttons to stop overrings or at least minimise the impact of them, and then make the RF mode manager only, so only you can do the refunds, so you're not getting so many problems on there. Okay, it's difficult obviously for a video to isolate what the problem is on everyone's Z report, but hopefully that's been informative. There'll be other videos appearing on screen now which you're welcome to watch, to do with the cash registers in general, but obviously specific to Casio models. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel or visit casiohelp.co.uk for more. Thanks for watching.